Mixtape Volume 3. Let's go.
Thank you all so much for having me. Thank you for sticking around. I'm a magician, which means most of what I heard today was completely over my head. And I know we've been here quite some time. I've been warming up. I'm ready for you guys. I'm just going to lead you in a little warm up to make sure we're all on the same page. If you're holding anything, just put it down for now. It's a simple do as I do. Just put both your hands directly out in front of you, just like this. So far, so good. And now flip your hands so your palms are facing outward. Almost 100% of you. I love it. All right, now take your right hand, which is this one, and cross your right hand underneath your left. Right goes underneath your left, just like so. I think we've done this right. And then grasp your fingers together. Good. Now, if you've done that correctly, your pinkies should be on top. Make sure your pinkies are on top. Good, yes. And your thumbs should be pointed down. Make sure your thumbs, those are pointed down. Yes. So far, so good. Okay, now watch me first. It's a simple do as I do. Watch me first. You're going to take those thumbs that are pointed down, and you're just going to turn them up. Now you. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. Now I have you right where I want you. You can let your hands go. You can put them together and together and together. Oh, no, thank you. Sit down. Sit down. Too much. Okay. All right, now that we're properly warmed up, my name is Brett. I am a magician, but I'm also an illusion designer, all right? And what that means is people, they bring me onto projects, theater, TV, and film, and I help design solutions to impossible situations. That's my tagline. Although, hearing some of the talks today, it sounds like that's a lot of your taglines too. I thought of it first, though, okay? Today, we have an agenda. We have a few short minutes together. We got quite an agenda. I'm going to keep showing off for you. That's how I feel most comfortable, so I'm going to keep doing that. B, I'm going to teach you a bit about illusion design, right? Greg and I will, actually, both of us. And then C, you're actually going to learn a secret today. You're going to learn the secret behind an illusion that A, you're going to be able to perform yourself, and B, hopefully, the framework for which might inform your work. That's the goal, okay? So our time is short. We've got a lot of ground to cover. And I'm going to start with this posit to you, okay? And I do believe this. I think that real magic requires your imagination. So that's what we're going to explore, a simple demonstration. Hi, right there in the blue hoodie right there. Could you please just pick a number out loud between 1 and 10 for me? 7. The number is 7. Hi, right here in the black t-shirt, 5th row in. There are 4 suits of cards, hearts, diamonds, spades, and clubs. Could you name one of them out loud? Diamonds, yes? Diamonds, the suit is diamonds, the number is 7, and finally right here, hi, how are you? You have the most important job. Your job is to imagine the 7 of diamonds, yes, diamonds? Imagine the 7 of diamonds appearing in my hand. Can you imagine that? Good, are you sure? Because if this doesn't work, it's not going to be my fault. So, but you can imagine that, yes? Because if you can imagine it, then maybe we could. But you can imagine it, yes? Yes, you can imagine those 7 diamonds on that card. Yes, that's all I'm asking you to do, right? This is just a blank slate. Like I said, this magic requires your imagination. So you can see 7 diamonds on here, yes? And you can use your imagination right here. You guys can see 7 diamonds. Thank you so much. Yes, that's the idea. You can see 7 diamonds on here, yes, yes. And then some of you are just blank stare, blank stare, blank stare. Okay, you are my skeptics. Okay, so for the rest of the evening, this is on your shoulders, skeptics. You're going to have to use your imagination. I will help you out, but just this once, and then the rest of the magic is in your hands because we're not going to be able to create this without your imagination. So my skeptics, maybe if I wave this under the stage light, you can begin to see. You can use your imagination. You can see those diamonds appear, yes? A little bit, yes? No? Okay, all right, I'll turn it up for you just this once. Do you happen to... You see 7 diamonds, yes? Does that make more, is that closer? Thank you, there we go, 7 diamonds. Yes, you can see it now. You can see it, yes, there you go. Oh, all the way in the nosebleeds, in the back, good, great. All right, and if you can't see on the sides, I know we got some of the angles, feel free to move about while we're playing together. Okay, so, like I said, magic does require your imagination, but when I design illusions, I'm always thinking about what your expectations are, what you bring to the room with, right? Because as an illusion designer, when I'm thinking about illusions, and we'll talk about the difference between those two words, but when I'm thinking about illusions, my job is to know what your expectations are and then subvert them, right? Because If all that happens is what you expect, then you're not surprised. And if you're not surprised, you're not experiencing a moment of illusion, right? You're not experiencing that puzzle, right? So I'm thinking about what you're bringing to the table. I'm thinking about your preconceptions, maybe things that you might think of if I prompt you in a certain way. And you'd be surprised, although maybe this is rather savvy, you might not be surprised how often some of the same things come up. If I asked for a random number, right, you can imagine a lot of the same lucky numbers come up. Favorite colors, similarly. Even with words, this is true, even with words, most people think of the same handful of words, okay? So to truly randomize an experiment here, I happen to have a couple paperback books here. I don't know if anyone knows these. This is called A Case of Intuition. It's like a murder mystery Jack Harlan novel. My Side of the Mountain. Yes? This is old school. This is a great book, right? This is like an old school favorite here. Let's see. Let's come over here. We haven't played yet. Hi there. Hi. Can you hold on to this for me? That's My Side of the Mountain. And you can make sure it is a normal book. All the pages are different. It is just a book. It's got the sticker on it, the $5 sticker here. And you can also make sure that is a real book. There's no trapdoors, no mirrors. And by the way, this is something I'm going to just cover right now. I did not prearrange anything with anyone in this room. There are no actors or plants used. There's nothing I asked people to do or say before this. And that's an aesthetic choice, because that's no fun for me. Okay? So yes, looks fair book. Yes, so we're going to get a random page, a random word here. I'm just going to riffle through the pages, and you tell me when to stop, all right? Stop. Was that fair? Do you want me to go further back? Is there the first word? Don't say it out loud, but the first word in the corner, you can memorize that word, yes? Good. Can you pick a letter somewhere in the middle of that word? N. Great. Okay, so for the next letter, don't say it out loud. It makes my job a little bit easier, but that's okay. Is there another letter somewhere in the middle that you can pick just in your mind? Good. And just imagine I'm holding that in space. I'm seeing some curves. Does that make sense? Yeah, because I'm seeing a lowercase a. Is that right? And just think of the word in your head. Just say it in your mind over and over and over. I'm getting many. Is that right? Many is the word many. Okay, round of applause for this one right here. That was very well done. Very well done. We'll try right over here. Say stop whenever you wish. Stop. Was that fair? Do you want me to go further back? You got a word up in the top corner here? Yep. I'm going to close that. Just think of that word. Maybe pick a letter somewhere in the middle. Don't say it out loud. Do that now. Did you just change your mind? You went straight to it, right? I'm getting a lot of curves in this letter. Does that make sense to you? Sure. Okay. It's not an. Does this look right to you? I'm getting this. Yep. Is this an O? Yep. It's not moon. Lose? Lose, that was the word. All right, round of applause over here. You've got a book all the way over there, yes? We haven't even used words, and I know people, they think that maybe I'm peeking. You are wearing glasses, after all, so there might be a reflection or something that I'm getting away with. So we're going to do this all the way across the room. You're going to tell me when to stop, okay? You're going to tell me when to stop. Ready? That was page 211, yes? We stopped on page 211. That felt random, right? Can you go to page 211 in your book and just memorize that first word? Oh, is there not enough pages? This is a smaller book. Okay, well, stop me a little bit earlier. Page 94. Go to page 94. Don't say it out loud. Go to page 94, and the very first word on that page, memorize it. And is this, it's not like an article like of or and or the. Perfect, okay. Can you do me a favor? Can you turn that word into an image, like a simple cartoon, like a line drawing? You can do that, yes? Great, and let's go for broke. Let's come all the way over here. Hi, how are you? We're going to go for broke. We're going to try this. Let's try any page in that book. I'm going to stand all the way over here, and I want you to go for a long, difficult word, okay? Maybe 3 or 4 syllables. It doesn't even have to be the first or second word. Anywhere on the page or on the opposing page, you can change your mind as many times as you like. You can riffle through the book, but go for like a long, difficult word, like 3 or 4 syllables, yes? Do you have it? Yes? Can you just imagine, it's almost like I printed it in space right here. It's almost like you're seeing it in space. Does that make sense? Great, if I take the first letter just like that. Okay. Okay, I'm getting these 2 curves. It was kind of like this. I'm getting these 2 curves. This is an S, yes? The first letter? No, it's not, okay. Of course not. Okay, maybe I'm miscalibrating, kind of like what we did with the O and the S. Don't tell me the word, but just tell me that first letter. What were you looking at? What were you seeing right here? M. Oh, M. Right, so the S instead of this, it was this, these two arches here. That was the M. Okay, okay. Go to the next letter just in your mind. Do that now. And see, this time I'm actually getting like an N or an M, which means I think it's an O. Is that right? Yeah, there we go. Okay. And now just think of the word in your mind over and over and over. Is it some mountain? Mountainside?
Yeah.
Mountainside. Is that the word? Yes? Okay, we got it. Round of applause for this one right over here. You have the book, yes? You have a mental image? Can you come up on stage with me? Do you mind? To this thunderous applause, please. Come all the way up. All the way up. You'll follow me right here. We have a couple steps around the side here, so follow me. Just for insurance purposes, you can come all the way up. Okay, good. What is your name, please? Michaela. My name's Brett. So nice to meet you. I'll take your finger out of the book. I don't even want to see, what page you're on. I'm just going to take that book. I'm going to toss it over here. I have a couple of tools here. These are just some blank pads. All right. Do me a favor, Michaela. Take a look at that pad, and I want you to make sure we can show the audience there is nothing on these pads, and even up close, there's no pencil markings or anything like that. Nothing to tell you what to draw or say or write, anything like that. Just a blank pad. Perfect. Okay. I only have one pen. We have two pads. We're both going to draw an image. One of us is going to draw it physically. The other is going to draw it mentally. All right? You're thinking of an image, yes? And you just created it on the spot, yes? We didn't set this up beforehand. You just did this a moment ago. You didn't tell anyone. You didn't write anything down, yes? No. This is fresh. Yes. Okay, we're going to stand back to back. You can stand right here, all the way back to back, just like that. And that way we can't see each other's pads, yes? Yes. Okay, what I want you to do is you're going to hold out the pad in front of you and imagine you're drawing onto the pad. It's almost like you're going to see it in a black Sharpie image. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's like you're about to draw it, but you just see it on the pad in front of you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. Are you in landscape or portrait mode?
Oh, I am in portrait.
Okay. Glad I asked. Okay. You're thinking of that right now?
Yes.
Okay. This is what I'm getting from you. I'm going to commit to this. Getting some angles here. This is a fractal, isn't it? No, shit. Okay. All right, hold on. All right, well, all right, that's fair. That's wrong. That's wrong. This is something different. Okay, maybe that's where those shapes are. I don't. Okay. Actually, I think I see it. All right, I think I see it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand you the Sharpie, okay. All right? And whenever you're ready, the audience will keep me honest here. I'm not going to change my drawing. I'll just hold it in front of me. Whenever you're ready, go for it. Just give me that line drawing as best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, but actually draw that mental image you had in your mind. Just draw it on the pad in front of you. It's almost like you're just filling in the gaps in your mind. And let me know when you've done that. You've done it. Okay, you can hand me back the Sharpie there. Thank you so much. Hold that pad just a little bit close to your chest, not all the way, but we'll take a step back and then turn and face me. Turn and face me. Moment of truth. Let's just see.
Oh.
Should we show them?
Yeah.
Not so bad. Not so bad. I was getting forest. That appears to be a tree. I saw several in a row. You saw one in front. Is that right? Okay. It's Michaela, yes? Round of applause for Michaela. Very well done. Thank you so much. There's steps right behind you. There you go. Well done. Good. It's never actually, that was actually, did you see the difference in quality of the trees? Thank you so much. That's great. It's never actually worked before. That's good. Okay, moving on. So notice a series of choices, right? Series of choices that you made at random. Now we're going to shift this. We're going to make one more choice. You are going to make one more choice. But this time, I'm going to let you in on a secret. I'm going to let you in on a secret. And actually, in a moment, Greg's going to join me on stage. We're going to reverse engineer it together in real time, because you have to earn the secret. You have to discover it upon yourself, and we have a system of doing that here. We're going to play one more game. We're going to play one more game here, and it's going to use these 3 dots. And if you're a README stan, you should recognize these. You should be able to recognize these red, yellow, and green dots here, these 3 dots right there, these 3 colors. I'm also going to get another random person here. So this is my random person algorithm. Someone catch that, please? Maybe toss it behind you. Toss it once behind you. Someone else catch it. Clearly doesn't want to participate. There we go. Someone caught it, yes? Okay, do me a favor, in your mind, not out loud, in your mind. And what is your name? Sai. Sai, in your mind, Sai, do me a favor. I want you to just mentally select one of these 3 colors, red, yellow, or green, and let me know when you've done that. You have, yes? Okay, now you're going to change your mind, so you're going to think of a color that you didn't even think you'd think of, right? And I don't want you to be influenced in any sort of way, okay? So I want you to maybe change your mind, and in a moment you're just going to yellow it out, and we're going to proceed from there. Yes? Okay, good. All right, so are you ready? Is that good? Yes, right? Okay, have you decided? Are you sure? Do you want to change your mind? You have a color locked into your mind, yes? In a moment, you're going to ask yourself, what if I had changed my mind? So I'm going to give you one final choice. Yes? Sai, do me a favor, in a nice, loud, and clear voice. Please, can you tell us the color that you are thinking of? Ideally, one of these 3, yes. It would really help me out if it was just one of these 3. Red. Are you sure? Because I happen to have a prediction. And this is maybe the first of a couple envelopes you'll see tonight, but this prediction looks an awful lot like the color that you chose. And I just want to be clear that there is no other paper in here. This is the only prediction I have right here. We're going to put that right there. Round of applause for Sai. Thank you so much, Sai. Thank you, Sai, for coming to rehearsals, for memorizing all your lines. That was really great. That right there, just that simple demonstration, right? That simple demonstration, believe it or not, that is what you were going to learn in a moment. But we have to reverse engineer it before you learn the secret. That's the deal, all right? So, Greg, if you don't mind, if you could join me on stage. Round of applause for Greg, please. Thank you, Greg. Greg, you're going to help me out here. Do you have, I'll get you a pen right here. Greg, you're going to help me out. We're going to do a little bit of a rubric, all right? All right. You can tilt that toward you if it helps to draw. And we're going to do like the 3-minute version of this. We're going to do kind of a speed round, right? This is how I approach designing illusions, all right? Because when you see a magic trick, when you see an illusion, you want to jump to the secret, right? We all just want to be like, how'd he do it? How'd they do it? What happened, right? That is the wrong way of thinking about reverse engineering illusions, because you have to start with the effect. The effect is, and I do want you to track this, translate this for your work, for creating an experience for anyone at any time. A user experience, a developer experience, any sort of experience that a human is going to go through, you can apply this framework, right? The effect. What I posit, what I want them to experience. And maybe the effect, we'll write the effect up in the top center here. The effect right here, can someone just explain maybe the effect of what I just did? What's an idea? Just popcorn it out. What's the idea for the effect? Brett did what? Exactly right. I appeared to read Sai's mind. Yes? So the effect is Brett read Sai's mind, right? I predicted a choice. Yes? The method, maybe all the way on the bottom, the method is the sneaky part, right? The method is how we got there. The method is actually how I did it, the mechanics, the technique, right? So in illusion design, we start with the effect first. Then we reverse engineer the method. Why do we start with the effect? Because that's what the experience is about. The experience is about creating this illusion that I'm reading Sai's mind. It's not about all the things I know how to do with a deck of cards or all the techniques that I've learned. It's about the experience. We start there, right? Now, if you're reverse engineering an illusion, the next step, if you've just seen one, okay, now you're trying to reverse engineer it. I guarantee you, in your head, you're splitting things into knowns, unknowns, right? So maybe we'll do like a known and an unknown here, and we'll make 2 little columns here. We have knowns and unknowns, all right? We're not going to go through the whole list, but maybe we'll popcorn a couple what are things that we know to be true about what we just saw? And when we say no, 95, 98% confidence interval, right? Let's round that up to known, right? We could be, you're all actors, you're all plants, we're all in a simulation. We're not going to deal with that, just like, we're going to skip that, the ultimate skepticism stuff. What do we know to be true? Just a couple of random facts about what you just saw. Thank you, yes, 3 colors, right? We know that to be true. There are only 3 colors. Sai even asked me if there were more colors, and there are not. There are only 3 colors, right? What else do we know?
You did a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. We do know that. We do know that. What else? Just maybe 1 or 2 more. What else do we know? That's an assumption. We're going to create a middle. This is a middle column called the assumptions that I can't actually read his mind. That's an assumption. Maybe 1 more. What do we know for almost certain Sai? Ah, that's interesting. I'm going to put that in assumptions too. It changes the probability, delta probability, delta P. Sai, maybe about this, because we have to kind of rely on you to get through this. What we know is, was that a free choice?
Well, you asked me to, so probably not.
I asked, well, maybe in your experience, what did it feel like a free choice? I actually think that's a no. It did not feel like a free choice, right? Do we agree with that? Sai is not convinced that was a free choice. So if it wasn't a free choice, I must have influenced your choice in some way, yes? And so maybe probabilistically, I'm getting you to choose a different an outcome, right? It's not going to work 100% of the time, but maybe I'm nudging you in a certain direction by what I'm doing up here, yes? Does that make sense? Right? Okay, that's a possibility. Maybe that's an assumption. And lastly, what do we not know? What are some unknowns about what you saw up here that you're curious about, maybe? What was in the envelope when I started? I love that. Unknowns, contents of envelope. I love that, yes. Anything else? What the first color? We don't know what was going through Sai's mind. The living nightmare of Sai's 7 seconds where he was picking a color. Any other unknowns? And then we'll cut to the chase here. That's right. The complicated mechanics and the technologies that I'm using outside of the paper and pens that I have, that is also true. Okay, so when we're thinking about an illusion design, right, when we're thinking about breaking this down, I guarantee you, for every single illusion, there is something in the known column that is actually, you should actually just be thinking is truly actually in the assume column, right? It's something you don't actually know. You're just assuming it to be known. All right, and you had an idea. You haven't actually stumbled on this one quite yet, but you had an idea with the envelope. We don't actually know. We're assuming that that piece of paper was in the envelope to begin with and was just that. That's an assumption, right? But we don't actually know that, yes? There's a few other things that we don't know, but you right now are assuming it to be true and you're not even noticing it. Maybe we'll give up the ghost. Greg, I don't know, do we have a hint? Do we have a hint as to like how we can maybe well,
yeah, you said that you're going to show the secret's going to be in here, right?
Yeah, that's right. So maybe, I don't know.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I did say that. So maybe, what would you need? What further information would you need right now to be able to crack this?
How many envelopes were there?
How many envelopes were there? Well, there really was just one. But what if we ran the experiment again? What if you had more than one data point? Would that help? Sai, do me a favor. Not red. So I want you to think of one of these 3 colors, right? One of these 3 colors, change your mind, blah, blah, blah. Maybe come up with another color, not red. Choice is yours, though. What's that? Yellow. Sai picked yellow. Sai, did that feel like a free choice? No. You're damn straight it didn't feel like a free choice. You know what's funny, though? It didn't feel like a free choice. I had planned it. I knew in advance that Sai was going to pick yellow, and I will prove it to you all right now. I will prove it to you all right now, because if I just turn around that yellow card, Sai, I've clearly made a prediction, and it's you will pick this card. And no, I did not make a prediction on those other cards. Yes, I know what you're thinking. No, that really was the only prediction that I made. You guys want to see it one more time? Sai, can you pick one last color for me? Can you pick one last color? We're just going to reverse this all the way back to the start. Sai, you can just think of a color and just say it out loud. Maybe one last color here. The choice is yours, Sai. He went with green. Did that feel like a free choice? Sai, before this, I made a prediction. I knew you were going to pick green. I knew you were going to pick green, and I was so confident in it. In fact, you're holding the prediction in your hand. Well, you were a second ago. You had a piece of paper that was crumpled up. Could you open up that piece of paper? I was so confident that Sai was going to pick green that I actually put the piece of paper, that prediction, right into Sai's hand. And what does it say? Nice, loud, and clear voice. You will pick green! Round of applause for Sai. Okay, I digress. This is a classic of magic. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book. It's a principle called multiple outs. What this means, what you don't know, is how the trick ends, because you only saw it once. What you don't know is the other eventualities we did not explore. And that is the missing information. You assumed the trick ends the same way every single time. You assumed that the prediction is always in the envelope. It is not. It is always one of those three choices. And notice, Sai, you actually did have a free choice. You really did have a free choice. It's just that I could pull out any ending I want. So we're going to pause right there. That's multiple outs. We're going to tie this together, okay? We're going to tie this together to a bit of how we curate experiences in general.
Yeah. All right. So no one's surprised that you're here as a magician because we've had music and a bunch of other stuff, but there is a reason why I wanted you to be here,
okay.
relevant to the conference, which is I've always kind of felt like magic and developer experiences are very intertwined the way people talk about it and the way people build them. So I think like everyone here has done something like made an API call to Twilio or something like that and be like, wow, that was magical. Like I can't believe how easy that was. It just felt like magic. I feel like that's like the highest praise you can get as a developer tool, and I've always thought that. And then there's the opposite too, where someone might be like, oh, I don't like that programming language, it's too magical. And that's kind of like, that's an insult and that's not a good thing. But I wanted to bring you here because I want to talk about kind of how you design illusions because, you know, as you're doing magic here, you also design illusions as well. And I feel like there's some like fundamental things, like for example, in developer tools, they have to be deterministic. They have to work each time because the magic doesn't come from, wow, that happened once, because one person thinks it's magical, but the other 99 people are going to be like, that did not work whatsoever and doesn't feel magical at all. So the magic comes from like consistency, and like you knew when you were up here that each of the tricks you've done so far, I imagine, were going to work out. I imagine it's the same with magic. Like, so how do you think about that? How do you make sure that like every single time it happens, you end up with not standing up here awkwardly being like,
Oh no, that's happened. You got to take some risks, right? You got to swing for the fences sometimes. But yes, you are right that I'm creating the illusion that there is chance, right? I'm creating that illusion for you, right? What I'm actually trying to zero in on is something that can work every single time and something that can be predetermined, right? An experience that I'm guiding you through every single time, right? Notice, it doesn't mean I'm literally saying the same words every single time. What I care about is your experience, not what I say. So if I have to pivot and I have to come up with a different script to realize that experience, I will. In magic, it's very binary. And this is what I mean by this secret that you just saw, right? It's like a bald-faced lie, right? I mean, this is something that's hiding in plain sight, right? If I expose that illusion to you, the game is up. It does not feel like magic anymore. It's a 1 down to 0, right? There's no in between, right? It's almost like if you're, it's like, think of like, you see a play, Peter Pan, and you just see that wire. Just that spotlight glimpses that wire that they're floating from, right? In just that 1 second, that bubble is burst and that illusion kind of disappears, right? It just takes that one little angle to expose a magic trick. So when I'm designing illusions, not that it has to, I'm always going to take risks, but what I'm always aiming for is the elegance of that experience. It's the efficiency of that experience. It's trying to deliver a direct experience to Sai with as little, a few steps in it as possible. But if I miss by 1, the game is up, right? And I do think that what we were talking about earlier with this is like, with multiple outs, there's a lot of work behind the scenes to give Sai a very, very smooth, direct experience, right? I've crafted a whole bunch of stuff that's waiting in the wings so that we can just have one direct, very simple interaction that I know with confidence is going to work every single time. And that is an illusion. That's creating an illusion, yes?
Okay, so I imagine that by the 3rd time you did it, even though you kept it kind of interesting and funny, most people were probably like, okay, I get how it works, all that, you get multiple outs.
Yeah, you only do that once. You only do that trick once.
Now, that sounds a lot to me like, so in programming, kind of like, again, more exciting when you did it, but similar to if statements, where multiple outs, where it's, you didn't know where the trick was going to go. You kind of knew the different paths and the, like code, you can go different ways. And I feel like that's a lot of times what developer experience is it's kind of thinking about every single possible edge case and just being ready for it and being there. And that's what feels magical to people. That's what it feels like. How did it know that? Because it didn't know it. It just knew from the inputs, the knowns, and doesn't know the unknowns, but it can kind of figure it out, guess, do its best. And again, you call it multiple outs. I would call it like if statements or branching logic, stuff like that. So what inspired me to invite you here was years ago I heard a quote from Penn and Teller, from Teller of Penn and Teller. And the quote is, "Sometimes magic is just someone spending more time on something than anyone would reasonably expect." And I feel like that's the core of what developer experience is in a lot of ways. It's not, there's nothing magical. Like we're still writing whatever it is code, it compiles down to bits and bytes and has to be run on a computer and all that. But I think what makes something magical is like people putting the extra time, the extra effort in to make sure that every different edge case, every different input, every different output, stuff like that, and take on the owners themselves. Because again, there's nothing too magical at the core of what you did there. It was very logical, based in logic, stuff like that. But it feels magical when you go through this effort to like make sure that every edge case you remove things like configuration. Again, not really magic, this is more dev experience, but you remove configuration. Because again, you could like have configured this beforehand, and that's not fun, because you could have been like, you're gonna say red, and he goes, okay, sure, and like, that's not magic for anyone. And I think like that's kind of the core of what magic is like, not all magic, but in a lot of ways, it's just spending so much time on something, and I'm not sure how you feel about that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Here's what comes to mind for me with that. So you are right that any technical craft, right, involves this massive amount of work that you put in that usually the recipient of does not see, right? I think it's true with magic. I think that's true with, with coding, with developer experience. I am not technical at all. I use paper and pen, so like I'm assuming that it translates based on what you said. But I do think that the experience, when something feels like magic, and this is a distinction maybe that we'll draw right now, it's different than just experiencing an illusion. When you experience an illusion, you are like, how did they do that? You're asking yourself a question. It's kind of like a puzzle, right? An illusion's like, whoa, how did they do that? That's not what magic, that's not my North Star for a moment of magic. A moment of magic should be, I saw them do it, and I can't believe I saw them do it. You're not working out a puzzle in real time. If you're working out a puzzle in real time, that's all you're doing, you're problem solving. And I'm not here to give you puzzles to solve. I hope to transcend that. Maybe some, I won't hit that every time. Some will just kind of feel like cool puzzles. But what I want it to feel, the experience, the effect I want to have is not like, look at this complicated thing I learned, now you would reverse engineer it. That facilitates a moment where it's like, you know what? I saw him do a thing, and even though I was there, I can't believe that he did it. And maybe we think about the word magic like, when we say it more regularly, I think it's actually better than saying it in a magic show. Like, like Steph Curry's like a magician on the court. Someone says that, oh my God, a restaurant, you're like, this meal's amazing. They're a magician in the kitchen. When we say it like that, we're not talking about guys in suits pulling rabbits out of hats. We're not. We're talking about this transcendent experience that we had. And it's like, do we know how Steph Curry plays basketball? Well, technically, we know technically, it's not a mystery. There's a massive amount of work put into this highly technical craft. When you see him shoot, does that matter? No, it just feels like magic. It shouldn't be possible, right? That's the feeling. It's different than an illusion.
Totally agree. And you said something before about how, you're not actually magic. You're not, Harry Potter magic.
Well,
he put it in the unknowns or the assumes, but
we'll assume that for now.
Okay.
We'll assume that for now.
But you're still, so that means like we all kind of, the reason why it's magical is because, if I watch a movie on TV and Harry Potter does something phenomenal, I'm not like, whoa, how did that happen? Like, I'm like, okay, like, but when you do it here, you have the same exact physics that you're responsible, like that you are susceptible as the rest of us. Like, you can't do anything, if you levitate or anything like that, you're bound by the same laws of physics as everyone else is. And like, same with developer tools. Like, again, there's no, well, except for like, AI, I wrote this talk a few months ago, but except for like AI, we kind of know how everything works. Like, it's deterministic. We run it 100 times and it works the exact same way 100 times. And where I'm going with this is, I think, kind of makes magic, both developer experiences and your style illusion, is you hide a lot of the steps away. So, for example, if a coin goes from here to here, it doesn't actually, you still have to physically either get it there or something has to happen. And like, you still have to do all the steps behind the scenes. And when I think about developer tools, And there's a few examples that a lot of people would agree are just like the first time you used it, and again, this has been many, many years, maybe since you saw it for the first time, but like the first time I saw a Twilio demo online, or live, this was like back in like 2008, and Jeff Larson, the CEO, was on stage, and he live coded and hit something, and like his phone vibrated. And again, it was just magical. Not because I didn't think it was potentially possible at all, but it was just so simple and easy. And I think like it's the first time I used Heroku, I've been struggling with getting Capistrano working. These are all the old things that you wouldn't know necessarily to get Rails running. And you just do a git push, and it just magically worked. And it was like Vercel recently, you type the word now in a command. This is a little bit older, but you just type the word now, and like it would just magically work. Or Stripe, when they started with, their big thing was that they wanted within 7 lines to be able to make a call. And none of those things I just mentioned had never been done before. Like people were sending text messages, people were charging people's credit cards, things like that. I think the way the magical was the end result. And I have to imagine that they started with the end result and worked backwards. I have to imagine that they didn't say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to be a company that's going to charge credit cards. And the reason they didn't do that was because a lot of companies were already doing that. And that's not magical. Like, no one's ever been in Walmart and swiped their card and be like, that felt like magic. Maybe the first time when people did credit cards, 30 years ago, but not recently. And the reason I bring that up is because when I start with developer experiences, when I'm thinking like I want to build a great developer experience, I always start with the end. And I'm like, what do I want to feel like? And I kind of imagine, based on your reaction, that that's kind of how you think about it as well. Like, I imagine you're not like, going step by step logically like a programmer, but you kind of start at the end and work backwards.
It's beautifully put, and like I agree. Like we have that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle quote, right? Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, right? But like that doesn't get you there. That doesn't really helpful because like there's a lot of technology, but the things you said felt like magic, and like we're going after an emotional experience. We're not going after technical prowess. That is maybe a tool that we use to get to that emotional experience. So you are right. When I'm performing, I'm not literally trying to convince you that I'm psychic. That is not what I'm trying to do on stage. But there are different levels of belief. I don't want you to think that literally what I'm saying is real. I just want it to feel real in that moment. If it feels real, if it felt like I was reading your mind, that is the game. Right? That moment, that feeling, right? I'm not here to like literally convince you using some sort of test conditions, some psychic, Cold War era test conditions in which they actually did, by the way. They really did. ESP was tested to see, that's not why I'm here. I'm creating an experience that feels like magic, not that I'm going to convince you logically is magic. And I think you can have both, right? And in fact, that cognitive dissonance that you experience is actually the fun part. I know it's not happening, but yet I saw it, right?
I've noticed we've been talking a lot, and people probably want to see a little more magic, so I'm going to...
Do we have a few more minutes? Can we see a couple more?
I will give you a few more minutes. Let's do some more magic.
Would that be all right? Okay.
All right.
Round of applause for Greg. Thank you so much, Greg. Do appreciate it. Okay, I know it's been a long day. Just a few more small experiments while I have you, and then we'll break for the happy hour, because I do want to pivot a little bit, because some of the things that we worked on earlier that we showed, they're a little heady, right? They use like logic, and we're talking about these frameworks, and like what I just said, I just want it to feel real. I want to revisit that a little bit, and I want to revisit what I said at the beginning, which is I require your imagination to fill in those gaps. Not your logic, not your reasoning, your imagination. That's how you get it to feel real. So for example, if I were to maybe perform a piece of magic with you that relies on your imagination that literally doesn't have a secret, maybe we can explore new territory. So for example, at the beginning, I held up that blank slate, right? That blank card, right? And I asked you to imagine, I think it was those 7 diamonds, yes? I asked you to imagine, and some of you could. Some of you were ready to play along. They were ready to imagine. Raise your hand if you were one of those that were like, yeah, I'll play. Yes, you can imagine it, yes? Good. Keep your hands up, please. Great, we'll do, just for now, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I called you, could you just do me a favor? Could you just come right to the lip of the stage, still on the ground, and just line up to this thunderous applause, please? Just make a nice little row. That's perfect. And this is just like a little paperweight on the string. Do me a favor. Can you just hold it just like so? Perfect, just like that. You can follow suit. You can follow suit as well. Yeah, there we go. Great. We can follow suit as well, yes. And I'll demonstrate with yours, and I'll hand you yours in a sec. We're just going to hold them like maybe a little bit higher, a little bit directly out in front of us, just like so, yes? And you can use your other hand to stop the weight. So it just kind of pause in space just for now, and I'll give you the cue. I'll hand that back to you. You can follow suit, get it all the way up at the top here.
Oh,
Yep, you want to make sure you're kind of pulling at the end. And I'm just going to lead us in a little demonstration of your imagination. This is an exercise in your imagination because voluntarily self-selected, this was easier for you to do than some of the others. So listen to my voice, but look down at the weight. And all I want you to do is imagine that this is actually true. I don't need you to believe that this is actually true. Just for a moment, imagine this is real, okay? Look down at the weight. And when I snap my fingers, just imagine that your mind and the weight are connected. And in your mind's eye, imagine that weight begin to sway from left to right. Very slowly at first, from left to right, from left to right. And you start to begin to see it sway just a little bit at first, from left to right, from left to right. And as you see it start to sway, encourage it to pick up momentum. Say, swing, weight, swing in your mind from left to right. From left to right, you're going to start to see it actually pick up speed under its own momentum from left to right, from left to right as it gets wider and wider and wider. And now you're actually going to start to see it change direction. In your mind, you're actually going to see the weight start to swing in a circular pattern. Watch, when I clap my hands, that weight is going to start to swing in a circular direction. You're going to watch the weight swing under its own momentum in a circular direction as that circle gets wider and wider and wider and wider and wider. And remember, you're not actually moving it. You're just thinking that you're moving it with your mind. You're just pretending to move it with your mind. But as you can see, the weight actually responds to your imagination as it gets wider and wider and wider. And when I clap my hands, you'll see that weight start to slow down and stop. Very well done. Okay, could you step forward for me? And could you step forward for me? Great. You two, this worked a little bit different for some of you. Do you mind just staying on stage with me one more time? Would that be okay? You two right here. The rest of you can give it a huge round of applause. You can keep that. You can keep those weights. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Don't worry. And maybe we'll have you. We'll have you stand. Actually, you know what? Why don't you follow me up on stage? We'll get you up on stage. Follow me this way. Yes, all the way around the side here. Give them a huge round of applause. Amazing. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. You can stand right here, and you can stand right here. And your name one more time?
Lizzie.
Lizzie, thank you so much. And yours?
Lily.
Lily and Lizzie. Lily and Lizzie, everyone. Great. All right. We're just going to do a couple more demonstrations of your imagination. Would that be all right?
Yeah.
Okay, nothing uncomfortable, I promise. Just exercises in the imagination. Do me a favor, step forward just a little bit further there. Oh, that's perfect, just like that. And you can maybe just angle this way just a little bit. Yep, just like that. Just like that, perfect. Lily, Lizzie, Brett, good. Okay, hands down at your sides here. This is just an exercise, just play with me here. Take a deep breath in and out. Good. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. And on this exhale, just let your eyes slowly close. Just let your eyes slowly close, but just continue to breathe. Just continue to breathe, nice and relaxed. Just be nice and relaxed and continue to breathe and just let yourself become more and more relaxed. The more you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And just be aware of the room around you. Just be aware of maybe the changes in light, maybe physical sensations, maybe hotness or coldness, anything like that you might feel. Just note it for yourself. Just be aware of your physical surroundings. Good, good. And just keep breathing and just keep being nice and relaxed. I'm going to lightly tap both of you on the forehead, okay? Just a light tap to give you an indication of what I want you to imagine. That spot that I just tapped on the forehead, keep your eyes closed, but I actually want you to look at it. I want you to actually move your eyeballs up and look almost like up through your skull. You're like looking up at that. We'll call it the third eye. We'll call it that third eye on your forehead. Look up at that point on your skull. You're looking through it. And just imagine maybe a purple light in the distance up above your skull. Good, you're actually doing it. This is perfect, good. And just imagine you're gonna keep looking up at that spot. And as I count from 1 to 5, that sensation will increase. And your eyes will become heavier and heavier. Eyelids will become heavier and heavier. And as I count from 1 to 5, the sensation of your eyelids being closed will intensify. So just keep looking up at that spot. 1, 2, 3. Your eyelids are very heavy now. 4, 5, good. And now your eyelids are almost sealed shut. It's like your eyelids are sealed shut, like if you tried to open them, you actually couldn't. But look up at that spot, move your eyeballs up, look up at that spot, and now when I snap my fingers, just try to open your eyes, but you'll find that you won't be able to because your eyes are actually sealed shut. You'll find that, I know it's a strange experience, but it's nothing too uncomfortable. And the more you try to open your eyes, the more you'll find that they stick shut. Very good. And if I clap my hands, that spot on your forehead will dissolve, and that pressure releases. And you can come back to the room. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's a little weird, right? Okay, you saw that out there. Okay. I think that worked a little bit different for you than it did for you. And I have a little test, here. I have a little test just to see, do you notice anything different in the room? Maybe changes in light? Any patterns that look a little different than a moment ago? You didn't notice, that's fine. You didn't notice, okay. I have a couple flashcards here. Folks in the audience, do me a favor. Don't say this word out loud, but just say yes or no. Can we read this word? Maybe not you in the back, but you guys can read this word, yes? Yes? Okay, and that's fine. We'll do it here. Do you know this word?
No, it's not real.
It's not real? Could you sound it out? Could you just sound it out? Could you try?
Escrozy.
One more time?
Escrozy.
That's close, right? Yes? Yes? That's close. We'll try another. I think this is working. I did think it worked a little bit different for you than it did for you. We'll try another one. Audience, yes or no? Can you read this? At least half, close half, yes? Do you? No? Okay. Can you just try sounding it out one more time? Could you? That's close. That's very close. Okay. All right. I think this is working. How about this one? This is a little bit. Piri-Waljot is close, I think. Yes, close. This one I think you know, though. I think you have to sound it out. You can sound it out. I think you got it.
Applesauce.
There we go. Say it one more time. Yes?
Applesauce.
That's correct. Yes, close enough. Yes. Yes, very well done. Very well done. Okay, this is a good sign. I think this is working, but I think it worked a little bit different for both of you. But I'm going to pause it with you. If maybe one of your senses has changed, maybe you've developed another. One final experiment with you both, if that's all right. Lizzie, thank you. You can step right there. It's the same exact thing. Just be aware of any physical sensation you have. Deep breath in and out. And let your eyes slowly close. And just be aware of any physical sensation that you might experience. Any changes in light, sensations, temperature, maybe in the room. Just be aware of any physical sensation. Keep your eyes closed. Just a yes or no. Did you feel anything? Did you feel the same sensation twice? Good. Okay, you can come back to the room. You can open your eyes, come back to the room. Could you describe what you felt?
You tapped me on the back.
Yeah, I tapped, right. How many times?
Twice.
Right, and
You tapped my shoulder twice.
I tapped you twice. Yes, out there, audience, yes. Yeah, interesting, right? Okay, I think this is working. Don't worry, they'll tell you later. You're doing a perfect job. One last experiment. Last time, take a deep breath in and out. Let your eyes slowly close. Just be aware of any physical sensations that you may have. Keep your eyes closed. Just a simple yes or no. Did you feel anything?
Yeah.
Keep your eyes closed. Could you both point to where you felt it? Open your eyes. Point to where you felt it. Yeah, what did it feel like?
Paper.
Like a paper
Nose.
or like a tap or yeah, interesting. Okay, I think that worked. And I now return control of your minds to you. They'll tell you later. Give them a huge round of applause. Very well done. Very well done. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know, it's weird. It's just. It's very strange. Okay, great. So that was just a bit of an experiment in your imagination. And like I said, and we're almost at the conclusion of our time together, but like I said, I do believe that real magic does require your imagination. And I really do believe that. I do mean that, honestly. The illusions, the techniques that I use are simply meant to develop or set the conditions, maybe create the space for magic to happen, but it actually does require your buy-in. It requires your imagination. So maybe one last little hurrah before we go here. Thank you all so much for having me. We're going to do something that Sai, we have that piece of paper, yes? Yes. Did you fold it into like perfect squares? Do me. That's a good point. You know what? That's fair. You know what? I happen to have another one. We'll just use this. We'll use this. We're gonna toss it back here. So far, so good. Yes, and maybe toss it one more time behind you. And you caught it right there. What's your name? Phoebe. Phoebe. Yes. Phoebe, do you mind helping me out with this? Would that be all right? Give Phoebe a huge round of applause, please. You can follow all the way up on stage. You can come around the side here. Perfect. Great. We have that. This is. Thank you so much, Phoebe. I do appreciate it. Phoebe, what we're going to do for you is. Hi. Thank you so much. We don't need this anymore. Watch. I'm just going to make it disappear. It's gone. Isn't that amazing? Ignore the paper balls on the floor. What we're going to do, Phoebe, is you're going to help me. We're going to do like a very quick mini art therapy session.
Great.
All right. You can see that we have Albert here. Yes?
Yeah.
And Albert's our mascot, our API Mixtape mascot. Do me a favor. Take a seat. Take a seat here. And we're going to create a new Albert. Now, notice folks here in the auditorium, maybe you've seen Albert in all sorts of different configurations, right, out there in the hall, all sorts of different outfits and colors and all that kind of thing. Notice that we mostly have a blank slate, right? And what we're going to do is we also have a handful of colors here. Yes? We have a handful of colors. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new Albert right on the spot, all right? I'm going to have you color in 5 sections of Albert. We have 5 colors here. Okay, well, not quite yet. I'll tell you when. Notice that section 1, Albert has headphones. Can you see that? Yeah. Albert also has a jacket. And it's open. And notice Albert's undershirt is a different section. So we have the jacket, we have the undershirt, we have the music player. I'm going to date myself. The Walkman, the iPod, the iPhone. I don't know. You translate for your generation. We have the Walkman, right? And then we have the shoes, yes? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do this together. In a moment, you're going to pick up one of the colors. I don't want you to plan what you're going to draw. We're going to make this random, okay? We're going to make this random. And so I don't want to see what you're going to draw. I'm going to maybe sit over here. We're going to sit this way. And I'll leave that right there. I'm not gonna, you'll keep your eye on it. You'll keep me honest here. So we're going to do this one color at a time, okay? And I don't want you to overthink this. This is like an art therapy session. And sorry, it's Phoebe, is that right? Yeah. Okay, Phoebe. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to look this way. These folks will keep me honest. Phoebe, don't overthink it, but maybe just pick up one of the colors. Okay. Let me know when you've done that. I've done that. Great. And what I want you to do. I want you to start, you can uncap the marker. This is an art therapy session. Did you get a lot of sleep last night? Yeah. Good, okay, you're feeling, okay, good. So what I want you to do, maybe color in the jacket. You can start with the jacket. I know that's one of the biggest ones that we have. And it just has to be a scribble. It almost just has to be like you don't have to color every square inch, but just indicate both sides of the jacket, both sleeves and the collar. Maybe just get some scribbles in there so we can see from the audience what color that you're actually you've selected. Let me know when you've done that. Perfect, great. Great, cap the marker, put it on the floor. Let's not mix them, put it on the floor. Let me know when you've done that. Grab another color, don't overthink it. Okay. And you said that, okay, you got a list, you were feeling in a good mood. Do you have any pets? I do. You do, you have a pet. Can you share what kind of pet you have? A dog. You have a dog, okay, you're thinking of your dog. Go for the headphones. Let's go for the headphones, right? You can color those in. Great. Okay, so these are positive emotions. These are positive feelings. That's good. Okay, great. Let me know when you've got some of the concentric circles on both headphones. So far, so good. Cap that marker, put it on the ground. Grab another color when you're ready. You're ready, yes? Okay, great. Did you have any dreams last night? Not that you can remember. Okay, I'm not sure how to interpret that. Let's move on. Color in the undershirt. Color in the undershirt. Just get some scribbles in there. Let me know when you're done. Perfect. Cap that. You can put that on the ground. And grab one more color. Let me know when you've done that. And this one, you can start. We'll do, I guess, there's a few more areas. I'm trying to remember what he looks like. I think there's the Walkman still open, right? Yeah, why don't you start coloring that in? And what's your pet's name? Theodore? What kind of dog is it? A what? That's a made-up dog. That's a bunch of dog names put together. That's the worst large language model response of a dog I've ever heard. Okay, we'll call it Poodle. Okay, I'm with you. All right, are you done? Oh, you put that on the ground. There's one more color, right? Okay, you can grab that color. And the shoes, right? We haven't done the shoes. Is that right? Okay, color in shoes. I'll open my eyes. There's only one color left, so it doesn't really make. Go for it. Yeah, you can color it in. Great, so let's see how we've done here. Amazing. Great. Okay, so I know maybe it's a little hard to see on this side, but Phoebe, do me a favor. You can stand up for us. Notice that we made this together a little bit. You didn't pre-plan this, right? You didn't think about what you were going to color ahead of time. You also, I didn't tell you to do anything in advance. We had that random toss there. You had like the orange-reddish headphones. You got the purple jacket. We got the green shirt. We got the blue Walkman. We got the yellow shoes. Well, I happen to have one more envelope right here, and you were keeping me honest, right? I didn't touch this envelope this entire time. It has this giant question mark on it, so we know it's a prediction. And I have one final prediction for you tonight. Believe it or not, I do have one final prediction, and that prediction is right here. That's right, Albert. Ladies and gentlemen, Albert, that's right. We have the orange headphones, we got the purple jacket, we have the green shirt, and the yellow shoes, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much. Sensing a muted applause. You've learned too much. You have learned too much. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that it's multiple outs, right? That's probably what we're thinking. You were right. You were right. Someone said it earlier, like, what's in the envelope, right? We were talking about that earlier. What is in the envelope? Well, I do happen to have a shitload more Alberts. There's nothing left in there. But actually, all my Alberts are the same. That's the Albert, that's the Albert. So if this is truly the Albert that you happen to draw, Phoebe, well, this is yours to keep. Give Phoebe, absolutely, you drew it. It's from your mind's eye. Give Phoebe a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. You can take a seat. Greg, do we have time for one last one involving everyone? Would that be all right?
I would love to do that.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't know what I would have done had you said no, so I do appreciate that. This is going to involve everyone. It's going to involve everyone. So do me a favor, just like we started, we involved everyone. Do me a favor. If you're willing to enable, please stand up. Please stand up, because like I said, we've been dealing with probabilities. We've been dealing with things that are deterministic, yes? And of course, nothing is more probabilistic than a coin toss. And I happen to have a $50 right here. And what's your name? Daniel. Daniel, do me a favor. I want you to make sure this is legitimately a $50. There's a heads on one side, there's tails on the other. There's no trapdoors, there's no mirrors, anything like that. Is that fair, yes? Fair, yeah. Daniel, you're going to be my judge. You're going to keep me honest during this entire exercise here, because we are going to play a game of coin toss, all of us together. You're all going to play like this. I'm going to toss the coin in the air. You're going to call it in the air. Raise your hand if it's heads. You put your hand over your heads if you're calling heads. So let's all practice. This is heads. You're calling heads. Hand at your side is tails. Perfect. That's the game, all right? And you're going to keep me honest with every coin toss, all right? So here we go. Biggest game of coin toss. Call it in the air. What do we have?
Heads.
Heads. So my heads keep standing. My tails, please sit down. My tails, please sit down. Heads keep standing, and you can drop your hands, but keep standing. Try it one more time. Call it in the air. What do we have?
Tails.
Tails. Tails, my tails, please stand up. My head, sit down. My head, sit down. That's right. You're gonna keep me honest here, okay? So we're whittling it down. We'll do it one more time. Those of you who are still standing up, call it.
Tails.
We have tails. Head, sit down. Head, sit down. We have tails. Let's do it a couple more times here. I think we have, I don't know, 5 or 6 folks that are here. Call it.
Heads.
We have heads. Tails, sit down. Tails, sit down. So we have heads. So let's see, how many, you were out earlier, is that right? Or are you still in the game? You're still in the game. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? I'm seeing 4 left. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 more times. I'm going to call it.
Heads.
Heads. My heads keep standing. Tails, you can take a seat. 3 left. Call it. What do we have?
Tails.
Tails. My head, sit down. Is there anyone else? No, the one right here. Lucky winner. What's your name?
Sean.
Sean, round of applause for Sean. Sean, keep standing, Sean, because like I said, we have to do a card trick. Remember I said we were going to do a card trick? Well, Sean, you're the lucky winner. You're going to do a card trick. We're going to close like a real magic show. We're going to close with a card trick. So this is a pick a card trick. What we're going to do is, just for everyone's visibility here, I'm just going to deal through the cards here, right? Until you just have an impulse. You just tell me when to... Right there.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're positive?
Positive.
Because you can change your mind if you want.
I feel good about it.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Because in a moment you're going to ask, what if I change my mind?
No, probably.
You want me to go one back?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Are you sure, Sean?
100%.
This is your card?
This is my card.
Last chance. Okay, this is everyone's card. That's what you picked. We got the, this is the Ace of Diamonds. Yes? Greg, do me a favor. Can you hold that card in front for everyone? I just want to show you the next card. That would have been the Ace of Clubs, right? The card before, that would have been the 8 of Diamonds. But you picked the Ace of Diamonds. There is one last prediction envelope, folks. And I know that things look probabilistic, but it's not. It's deterministic. Because, Sean, I have one last prediction envelope. And I placed it underneath your chair. Underneath your chair. You have an envelope, yes? Can you show everyone the envelope before you open it up? Can you show everyone what you got there? And while you're standing up, you have an envelope. Can you open up that envelope? And what do we have in there? The Ace of Diamonds, ladies and gentlemen. The Ace of Diamonds, ladies and gentlemen. Give Sean a huge round of applause. Greg, thank you so much for having me. Give Greg a huge round of applause.
I think I can do one better, though, actually. Hold on. I think I can do one better. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, well.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. Okay, so you've all been here. You notice that we have the light display. We've been using it, the API part all night. But does anyone here read music by any chance? Anyone? We have a musician at least, so okay. Hash, can you, well, you're both piano playing. Can you see the musical notes right here? Do you know what they are? Yeah. What do they spell? A, E, and what are they made out of? Anyone else?
Diamonds?
All
So
right.
We have A, C, E in music notes in the shape of diamonds.
Not bad.
That's pretty good, Greg. Give Greg a round of applause. I can do one better.
Okay,
I can do one better. The piece of paper I just tossed you, it was what I thought you were thinking of before. I was wrong. Remember, it was like fractals. It was something, right? You can uncrumple it. Did you bring it up on stage with you? Oh, that's right. I made it disappear for you. That's right. And there's a whole bunch more. I'm just going to get the one that you brought up. I happen to have. Well, there was this one. No, we can do one better.
Okay.
We can do one better. Sean, that one card that you have in your hand, that Ace of Diamonds, yes? On the back, do you notice Albert the Magician?
I do.
What's Albert holding?
He's holding Ace of Diamonds.
The Ace of Diamonds! That's what I thought. What do you think, Greg?
Okay, I think I can do one better. All right.
One better?
Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so what else is he holding?
Like a pass.
Oh, like a badge that we're all wearing, maybe? On the back? Maybe there's an opera on the back? And maybe it's the exact same colors as this right here? Okay. Do we tell them how we do it?
Are
or
you
what do we
saying
do?
the Albert badge is the same one that Phoebe just drew a moment ago that you were all wearing? Is that right?
Yes, indeed.
That's pretty damn good, Greg. Very well done. Give Greg a huge round of applause.
Okay. So I appreciate the magic, but I do think that's only fair if we kind of tell them how we did it. Was it magic, for real?
Not exactly.
Okay, so there's a quote I said before, which is from Teller, that sometimes magic is just spending more time on something than anyone could reasonably expect. So, what did you do at 11 o'clock this morning?
Yeah, I got here in the space well before anyone else. Well, we all did, actually, the team that worked on the show. And maybe some of you have reverse engineered this already. There's only one way for Sean to have an envelope under his chair. Oh, we all have an envelope under a chair. Don't open it quite yet, but you all have an envelope under a chair. Like I said, don't quite open it yet. It had to be deterministic. It wasn't probability at all. I want a 100% success rate. Should we show them how we did it?
Let's do it.
Open up the envelopes. Hold up the card. Hold up the card for everyone else to see. What do you have? You have a blank card, except for Sean. And that blank card that you're holding, that's a reminder, that's your blank slate. That's what you use your imagination next time you're creating a magical experience for someone. That's yours to keep. Thank you all so much. Give Greg a huge round of applause.
All right, and everyone give Brett the well-deserved round of applause for ending the show. Thank you so much, Brett. Really appreciate it.
No, sit down, sit down.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. Thank you to everyone who helped organize this conference. Thanks to all the speakers. A lot of work went into it. I know that this was probably the most weird API conference I ever went to. I think that we do it this way on purpose because we want people to learn and see new stuff and all that, but also programming should be fun. We're really lucky that we get to spend every single day not just building cool tools, but building cool tools that help other people build amazing things. So thank you so much for coming, everyone. We have drinks, we have food. I think Brett's going to stick around and do some close-up magic if anyone wants to stick around. Mingle, talk to people. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Have a great night.